Hey, this is Shobit, founder and CEO of Intentional Product Manager, and today we'll be talking about the weird reason why mindset is the key to landing your dream product management role. Stay tuned for more. Hey, this is Shobit, founder and CEO of Intentional Product Manager, where we help product managers have a career and a life that they can be proud of while every day being happy, excited, and absolutely ecstatic about the impact that they're having on the world. Okay, so I said mindset is the key to landing your dream product management job. But first, let's talk about what exactly is not the key to landing your product management job. Because everyone thinks it is. Here are the things that are not key: networking, not the key; an awesome cover letter, not the key; an awesome resume, not the key; an awesome LinkedIn, not the key; awesome interview prep, not the key; negotiations, not the key; anything I can think of, doing assignments, not the key. All of these things are important. You have to have a resume. You got to network. You got to figure out how do you get referrals. You got to interview well. But the key ingredient, what we've seen over and over makes a difference, and I'll talk about why soon, is mindset, the psychology. Think about it this way. Let's say you're after a goal, right? So you're going to set up all the strategies right, all the tactics right. You're going to build a plan. You're going to be very intentional about your search or whatever your goal is. You're going to go after it. But what about your psychology? What about your mental state? If you don't get it right, it's like you're going uphill with a lot of friction. You're just trying to with a lot of weights attached to you, and you're dragging stuff in, and you might get to the destination, but it's going to take a lot more effort than if your psychology was aligned with your goal. And so that's what we're going to talk about: how your mindset, your psychology exactly affects your dream product management job search. And it's the key to landing your dream product management job. The number one reason why mindset is the key is this thing called frames. So here's what happens when you go into a conversation. There's really two things going on. There's the frame that the other person has and the frame that you have, and they clash. So what typically happens is that the stronger frame absorbs the weaker frame. And you can see this all the time. Let's just take an example of you visiting a doctor. If a doctor says, "Here, take your clothes off and wear this weird gown which is open in the back," you go ahead and do that. Now, can you imagine doing that if anybody else walked up and told you? No. Why is that? It's because there is a frame to the doctor visit. There's certain expectations. Now, when you don't set up your mindset properly, when you go to the interview, what happens is there is a superior frame of the interviewer, which is deciding, hey, am I going to give you the job or not? And you are like, please hire me, please hire me. That's your frame. Which frame is going to absorb the other one? While I've seen people go in with the right level of confidence because they did the mindset work, and they're able to, sometimes, even when they didn't answer the question well, they were able to walk their way out of it. They were able to explain, hey, I don't have this experience, but I've done all these other things. I don't see why I can't learn. You should just hire me. And they did get the job. So the number one reason is that the frame, the way the conversation dynamic is set up in interviews, it is absolutely a function of your mindset. And what happens is that even in cases like Amazon, Google, Facebook interviews, where people think it's about meeting all these boxes and preparing for an exam, and it's like that, even their frames has a huge impact on how the other person sees you. So that's what the number one reason why mindset is a key to landing your dream product management job. Reason number two is your resourcefulness or your persistence. See, here's what happens. I don't think I've worked with anybody in their job search where there's haven't been at least certain amount of disappointments. You applied for something, you prepared really well, and on that day you didn't do well, or the interview was not in the best mood, and you got a reject from Google and from Facebook and from Amazon. And There might be people pretending that, oh, we're going to give you the recipe and you're just going to ace all the interviews, but it's never the case. This always, life gets in the way. Question is, are you going to stay persistent and resourceful? Which means, will you keep going? And will you be creative enough to understand when to change course and when to modify things, and especially work with anybody you're working with to figure out, okay, how do I do things differently so that I land the job that I'm after? That's your persistence and resourcefulness. So the more you do, the more you work on your mindset and make sure your psychology is aligned, the more you're able to recover from disappointments and able to keep going. That's really the second reason. It's all about your persistence and your resourcefulness. And when you face disappointments, how do you get past it? Reason number three, energy. When your mindset is screwed up, when your psychology is not aligned, the energy with which you show up at interviews, how you prep, it's just low. And you get tired easily. While if you do the mindset work, I've seen it over and over again. People just have more energy. They can keep going. They can do more. They can apply to 30 jobs in a week rather than 3. They can do 10 practice interviews right before Facebook comes in. The mindset work is so essential in fine-tuning your energy for anything, especially when you're doing something like a job search where you're consistently being judged by other people. Judged not as in you suck, but as in you just weren't good enough for that job. And so it's the energy that enables you to actually do more and land that job fast and land the dream product management job, not just any job. Reason number 4 is your likability. The more mindset work you've done, the more you are confident. And there's no doubt about it. People love confident people. They are enamored by them. They just assume that they are more competent, which is not always the case. There's plenty of people who don't display the confidence, but they're actually very competent. But remember, interviews, your search, it's not just about the competence that you have. It's the competence that you're able to display. So when you work on your psychology and your mindset, your confidence level goes up, and so your likability goes up. People just assume that you're more competent and they like you more. They say, hey, we're going to work with you. We want to work with you. So I'm going to give you benefit of the doubt. Maybe I'll help you out a little. And remember, this is not logical thinking. So it's not that your interview is going and logically thinking about, do I like this person? Should I give them clues? It's all happening at a level below. It's happening at a subconscious level. And you might consider these biases or whatever, but the fact is that they're real things. So the work you do on your confidence, the work you do on your mindset affects your likability, and ultimately it affects how the interviewer perceives you and what the result that you get. Reason number 5, why mindset is the key to landing your dream product management job, is all about your goals. So often when people start with us in intentional job search, they tend to set goals that are really low. And that's the reason why. The reason is they're often coming from a place where they didn't have the right structure, the right input to be able to achieve their goals. And so they might have been rejected already from a bunch of jobs, and they begin just trying to go one level above their current job. I've seen people who experienced entrepreneurs come in and say, Shobit, if I could get an APM role at 100K, I'll be happy. Now, what happens is when they work on their mindset, the level of confidence goes, so they set bigger, more audacious goals. And when they set these more audacious goals, very often they meet them. We often rise to the level to which we aspire to, rather than a level that's just normal for us. So the mindset work that you do, what your mindset is, what your psychology is, that affects how you set goals and how much you strive. So, for example, one of the people who I mentioned earlier, 100K associate PM level role, finally ended up getting several times that amount in a director level role. That's the power of mindset and goal setting. Do not underestimate it. Reason number 6, and the last one, is your frequency. Now, what's your frequency? So I'm a strong believer in the fact that I'm a strong believer in the quantum universe, where there are multiple universes, and everything that we feel and think has an energy to it. It has a frequency to it. So if you're feeling worried, you're giving out a certain frequency to the world. If you are feeling happy, you're giving out a certain frequency to the world, and it gets transmitted. And the thing is that it's not just being transmitted. You are often finding the result, the person who's an energetic match for you. It matches the frequency and you attach. So if you live in a frequency of lack, of scarcity, of unhappiness, of worry, what happens is that that's what you get matched with. And those are the people that you get matched with. And those are the results that you get matched with. On the other hand, if you live in a frequency of confidence, of optimism, of knowing that the world is working for you rather than against you, of knowing that you can achieve anything that you can set your mind up to do, then what happens is that you find that thing. It comes and meets you. You manifest that thing. Now, I know a lot of you are like, oh, what? No, Shobit, I'm very logical. I don't believe in this woo-woo stuff. But the thing is, what I found building this business, it just works. When I show up with the right frequency, things happen. People enroll in my program, people get massive results, and I believe every frequency I show up with, other people get affected by it. Now imagine, if you're showing up with the wrong frequency, what is the frequency your interviewer is perceiving? And by the way, you don't have to be next to each other. Even in a Zoom or phone interview, this frequency transmits. It transmits as part of your voice. And that's really, in my mind, one of the biggest reasons why mindset is the key to landing your product management job, is because you're giving out a certain frequency that is going to be transmitted to people you network with, you interview with, you apply to. And you got to set that up in the favor. You got to set that up in your favor. And that's, in my mind, the last, but probably the most important reason why mindset is the key to landing a dream product management job. And probably the most weirdest reason is the frequency. So now you have a choice. You can absolutely let this go. You've heard everything. You can let this information pass just like any other YouTube does. Or you can make a decision now to change your career and your life. And the way that begins is that you apply to speak with us. So here's the URL, intentionalproductmanager.com/apply. What you do is you find a time that works for you and us, and then also fill out a short form that tells us exactly what is going on in your career so we can be prepared for this call. Now the call's going to be super powerful, because what we're going to do is we're going to dig deep into your career, where things are working, where things are not working. Then we're going to talk about what are your goals and what do you want to happen. And then last but not least, we'll figure out a step-by-step plan to help you get there. Now, notice that this is not necessarily for everyone, in the sense that we might not be able to help everyone. And so even if we can't help you, we'll give you some guidance and refer you to other people who might be able to help you. Either way, we're committed to help you get to the outcome and the clarity that you need. So use this link, intentionalproductmanager.com/apply. Do it now before you miss it, or just slots get booked up for weeks, which they often do. And we look forward to speaking with you on the phone.